It is essential to be up to date on happenings around you, and to make that easy for you, ladies and gentlemen, we present Freshlight, where we bring fresh newspaper headlines to the limelight. Mondays to Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Watch, like, subscribe, and make sure your notification is activated on our YouTube channel. You can also like and comment on our pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Al-IyamoyeTV and radio.
From this angle, Al-IyamoyeTV and radio. Today being the 13th day in the month of July. I was saying good morning from this side and welcome to Freshlight. This is where we save you the strength of going through newspaper pages, and we also tells you where certain stories can be found. My name is Risqat Funmilayo.
Okay, welcome to Freshlight. I am Oluwafisayomi Ajibola.
Today we shall be parading for newspaper. We have the Nation newspaper, the Punch newspaper, Vanguard, and Tribune. So starting with the Nation newspaper, I'll be reading the stories on the front page. So starting with the bold headline, Tinubu, remedy for subsidy withdrawal hardship soon. President asks lawmakers to approve 500 billion naira palliative cash. Ladoja takes on Makinde, Olubadan, Obas, Overstool. Page 27 of the Nation newspaper captured the story this morning. CBN directs payment of dollar receipts in naira. Page 5 of the Nation newspaper captured the story this morning. Vandals remove fittings on second Niger bridge. Page 29 captured the story. Nigeria fully redeemed $500 million Euro bond. On page 25 of the Nation newspaper captured the story. Investors' confidence now boosted, says NGX. And lastly, on the Nation newspaper front page, federal government states to partner on electricity. These are many more stories you found on the Nation newspaper. I'm going into the details of these stories.
Okay, breaking. Court orders DSS to charge or release Emefiele within 7 days. Justice Hamzat Muazu of the Federal Capital Territory FCT High Court has ordered the Department of State Services DSS to charge the suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN, Godwin Emefiele, to court within 1 week or release him. Emefiele's counsel, Joseph Daudu, a senior advocate of Nigeria SAN, said the applications for bail would be processed while hoping it will be granted. That is breaking news from the Nation newspaper. Court orders DSS to charge or release Emefiele within 7 days. Okay, Tinubu, remedy for subsidy withdrawal hardship soon. I understand the suffering the people are going through as a result of the removal of petrol subsidy, and will soon remedy it, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu assured Nigerians yesterday. He spoke at Azo Villa in Abuja during a meeting with the class of 1999 governors, of which he is a member. 18 of the former governors, led by Lucky Binedi Edo, visited the president to pledge their support for his administration. Among the 36 governors of the 1999 class, only 26 of them are alive, according to Igbenedion. Tinubu, remedy for subsidy withdrawal hardship soon. The Nation is reporting that.
Okay, picking my first story, I'll be moving to Ekiti State this morning. Kidnapped Ekiti APC chairman regains freedom. The chairman of the All Progressive Congress in Ekiti State, Paul Omotosho, who was kidnapped by gunmen along the Imesi Ekiti Agbado Ekiti Road last Saturday, has regained freedom. A reliable source of the APC chairman in Imesi Ekiti hometown said Omotosho was freed on Wednesday night and he has reunited with his family. The source said, Barrister Omotosho was kidnapped by some assailants last Saturday along Imesi Ekiti, Agbado Ekiti, while returning from Ado Ekiti, but he had been left off the hook. We thank God he's back home healthy. Just now, we are happy. This is coming from one of the residents in Omoto in Ekiti. This is coming from one of the stakeholders of APC chairpersons in Imesi Ekiti hometown. The story is kidnap Ekiti APC chairman regains freedom. You can find this on the Nation newspaper this morning.
Okay, let's go to Vanguard newspaper and see what you have on the cover page.
Okay, on the Vanguard newspaper this morning, we have jihadists from Niger, Mali, Libya, taxing Nigerian farmers. And this is coming from Rep. You can find this on the page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Lightning kills 3 suspected kidnappers in Kwara. Page 6 of the Vanguard newspaper captured the story. Subsidy removal, palliative to relieve Nigerians underway. This is coming from Tinubu. 6 reps approval for 500 billion naira, and this is you can find this on the page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. Nollywood actress Cynthia Okereke dies 1 year after kidnap. Page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper captured the story. Sit at home, Southeast governors vow to deal with Simon Ekpa and others. You can find this also on the page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. These are many more stories you are going to find on the Vanguard newspaper, and going into the details of the story.
Sit at home, Southeast governors vow to deal with Simon Ekpa, others. Okay. Anambra, Enugu, Ebonyi, and Imo State government yesterday vowed not to yield to the antics of non-state actors disrupting governance in the Southeast geopolitical zone. Their reactions follow the threat by the factional leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB Simon Ekpa, to impose a 2-week sit-at-home in the Southeast commencing from July 31st to August 14th. Simon Ekpa had on Tuesday declared the sit-at-home would take place in the following order: Monday, July 31, 2023 to Friday, August 4, 2023, there will be total lockdown in the Biafra land. Sit-at-home, Southeast governors vows to deal with Simon Ekpa, others. That is available. The full details is available on Vanguard newspaper this morning. Also this morning, the Vanguard is reporting the case of ASUP student crisis. ASUP, it has the headline, ASUP criticized student loan scheme as fee rise by 200%. The Academic Staff Union of University, ASUP, and the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnic, ASUP, has kicked against the student loan scheme introduced by President Bola Tinubu to solve the major challenge facing the education sector in the country. Tinubu signed the student loan to law days after his assumption of office. A move has been greeted with reactions. Former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, delivered a lecture where he posited that the setting up of the student loan scheme was one of the surest ways to solve the problem of funding education in Nigeria. He followed it up by sponsoring a bill on the matter in the National Assembly that would help indigent students to fund their education, which was signed into law by the President. ASUP criticized students' loan scheme as school fees rise by 200%. It's available on Vanguard newspaper.
Still on Vanguard newspaper, court gives DSS 7 days to release Emefiele. An Abuja High Court sitting at Maitama on Thursday ordered the Department of State Services (DSS) to, within 7 days, release the suspended governor of the CBN Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, from detention or charge him to court. The court, in a judgment that was delivered by Justice Hamza Muazu, held that Emefiele continued detention without trial amounted to a gross violation of his fundamental human rights. Justice Muazu held that the Nigerian Constitution was founded on the rule of law, which he said presupposed that everything must be done according to the law. To read more of this story, you can pick Vanguard newspaper this morning. It has this headline: Court gives DSS 7 days to release Emefiele.
Okay, let's move on to another newspaper. This time, let's go to the Tribune.
Okay, going to picking Tribune newspaper this morning, starting with the bold headline: after removal of petrol subsidy, Tinubu seek 500 billion naira for palliatives. As you can find this on the page 2 and page 7 of the Tribune newspaper. Oil theft, Navy uncovers sabotage NNPC wellhead in Rivers. Reps to prove alleged crude oil theft. Maritime security returns to Gulf of Guinea as attacks surge. Dangote steals Africa's richest man with 14.2 US dollar billion naira net worth. This is coming from Forbes. And lastly, CBN Falana spar over 702 billion naira China deal. Litigation likely. These are many more stories you are going to find on the Tribune newspaper this morning.
Okay, let's quickly look at this 2023 Hajj. Nakan airlift 14,965 pilgrims back home. 9 days into the homebound airlift of Nigerian pilgrims from Saudi Arabia after the completion of the 2023 Hajj exercise. A total of 14,965 pilgrims have so far been airlifted back home as of 7:04 p.m. Nigerian time, 9 p.m. Saudi time on Wednesday in 38 flights. The latest departure from the King Abdulaziz International Airport, Jeddah, in Saudi Arabia, was a contingent of 478 Nasarawa State pilgrims flown to Abuja by Saudi airline Flynas. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, commenced the homeward airlift operation on July 4 after the pilgrims completed the Hajj rite on June 30th. 2023 Hajj, NACON airlift 14,965 pilgrims back home. That is available on the Tribune newspaper this morning. Also on Tribune newspaper, you will see this gunmen kill 37-year-old businessman in Bauchi village. Yet to be identified gunmen have killed a 37-year-old businessman, Chino Zogu, a resident of Balile village in Ningi LGA of Bauchi State. This is coming a few days after the Bauchi State Police Command said it has arrested the gunmen who kidnapped a traditional ruler in Ningi LGA. A resident of the village told Tribune Online that the gunmen stormed the village around 1:30 a.m. early Tuesday morning, shooting sporadically to scare people who were already deep in their sleep. Gunmen killed 37-year-old businessman in Bauchi village. Tribune has the details.
Okay, moving to another newspaper, and this should be our last newspaper of the day.
Before we go to that, I would say we should do a commercial break, or we'll come back from this commercial break. We'll take Punch newspaper.
Thousands have been disappointed severally in their bid to seek greener pasture abroad. To those quack in the traveling agency business, it is a rocket science. That is not our case at Tausaf Travels and Tour. We have in-depth details on how to successfully, without stress, help you process and secure your visa to anywhere in the world. Do you want permanent residential visa, visiting and tourism visa, student visas like Europe, America, Asia, Africa? It's no big deal to us at Tausaf Travels and Tour. Our years of experience and expertise speaks volume for us. Let's process and secure visa for you to UK, USA and Canada within a twinkle of an eye. We offer Hajj and Umrah services to our Muslim faithfuls. What are you waiting for? Consult us at number 9 Tausaf Central Mosque, Sholanke Street behind Laroy Hotel, Abiola Way, Abeokuta. 0802 733 0900 or 0806 578 4060. Stop wasting money. Pay for peace of mind. Talk to Tausaf Travels and Tour.
Gbogbo aláfẹ́ tún gbayì tó gé tó gbàmù ló ń kọjá lọ sí House of Zayana. The name I know when we talk of top-notch fashion, quality materials and class. House of Zayana. Lẹ́tí máa rójúlówó Turkey wears, Egypt and Malaysia clothing, Dubai, àwọn designer bags lóríṣiríṣi, àwọn ìtẹ̀lẹ̀ bàtà tó jiná tí wọ́n fa wọ original ṣe, àwọn aago kájọ́ tó ń ka wákàtí, designer sunglasses and perfumes, pẹ̀lú àwọn gbogbo nǹkan tóbìnrin àsìkò fi ń gbáfẹ́ lò gbà. Mo débẹ̀ ojú mi ń ṣe kàmì èmi ni ó rà èmi ni ó mú. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin mùsùlùmí ẹlẹ́sìn tẹ́ gbòógì gbọ́npa fashion tẹ́ wá nílò jàlábíà, hijab àti àbáyà lóríṣiríṣi. House of Zayana lẹ́ẹ̀ tí rí gbogbo ẹ̀ rà. Àná wà ní 52 Ọlọ́run ṣògo road adjacent Redeemed Church Agape Parish Ọlọ́run ṣògo Abẹ́òkúta. Lórí Instagram House of Zayana 081656886 House of Zayana. Ilé ìtajà tá a ti ń tojúlówó aṣọ ṣaralóge tí ń gbéni níyì. Gbogbo
from that short commercial break. Still on Freshlight this morning, I'll be writing it up with the Punch newspaper. On the Punch newspaper, we have this on the front page. NLC protest Tinubu's 500 billion naira subsidy, palliative demand 300% pay rise. You can find this on the page 2 of the Punch newspaper. No Nigerian child should lack education. Malala tells federal government. You can find this on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. House to investigate 14-year power outage in Ondo communities. You can also find this on the page 8 of the Punch newspaper. After Obasanjo's revelation, Atiku can't label me corrupt. This is coming from Autumn. You can find this on page 15. And lastly, reps probe contract fraud, revenue leakages in NIMASA. NIMASA. Page 14 captured this morning, and going into the details of the story.
NLC probes Tinubu's 500 billion subsidy palliative, demands 300% pay rise. The Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress have stormed down the 500 billion naira palliative proposed by President Bola Tinubu, stating that it is grossly inadequate to assuage the hardship confronting workers sequel to the fuel subsidy removal. They are demanding a 300% salary increase to enable workers to cope with the challenges imposed by the deteriorating economic situations that came with the removal of the controversial fuel subsidy. On Wednesday, the President wrote to the House of Representatives seeking approval of 500 billion naira to cushion the effect of petrol subsidy removal. Tinubu's request was contained in a letter sent to the National Assembly and read during plenary by the House of Representatives Speaker Tajuddin Abbas. NLC protests Tinubu's 500 billion subsidy palliative, demands 300% pay rise. But Obi kicks as Tinubu offers opposition's governor slots. The Labour Party and his standard bearer in the last presidential election, Peter Obi, have kicked against the offer of board slots to state governors, including those elected on the platform of the opposition, People's Democratic Party and Labour Party by President Bola Tinubu. Kwara State Governor and Chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, disclosed at the meeting of the forum in Abuja on Tuesday night that the President asked the governors to nominate competent persons to serve in the boards and parastatals of federal government agencies, which was dissolved last month. But Obi kicks as Tinubu offers opposition governors plots. That is available on Punch newspaper.
Still on Punch newspaper, and I'm picking this story from the Metro page. Lagos Lagos-based man circulating ex-lover's nude photos arraigned gets bail. A businessman, Amara Kennedy, who was accused of circulating nude photos of his former lovers, was on Wednesday arraigned at a chief magistrate court in Ogba, Lagos. Kennedy, who was arraigned on 6-count charge of provocation, unlawful conversion of funds, and publication of nudes on social media without the consent of the persons. The charge read in part that you, Amara Kennedy, sometimes in September 2022 in an hotel at Olodi Apapa, Lagos, in Lagos Magistrate District, insulted, annoyed, disgraced, and provoked names withheld without her consent, did share her nude in the social media, and thereby committed an offence contrary to and punishable under subsection 24 of the Cybercrime Stalking. That you, Amara Kennedy, on June 12, 2023 at the Olodi Apapa area of Lagos in the Lagos Magistrate District, insulted, annoying, and embarrassed, provoked name without her consent. To read more of this story, you can go to the Punch newspaper. It has this headline: Lagos businessman circulating ex-lover's nude photos arraigned, guilt bail.
Okay, taking the last story from Freshlight this morning, going to the sports section. 2026 World Cup qualifiers. Eagles may draw Ghana, South Africa, Angola. The Super Eagles may be drawn against the arch rivals Ghana, South Africa, and Angola in the African qualifiers for the 2026 World Cup. Punch Sports Extra report. The draw ceremony for the qualifying rounds of the 2026 World Cup holds in Abidjan, Ivory Coast on Thursday today, hours after the 45th CAF Ordinary Assembly at the same venue. According to a statement from the Confederation of African Football, African will employ a single stage of World Cup qualifications format for the next finals that will be co-hosted by the US, Canada, and Mexico. 2026 World Cup qualifiers. Eagles may draw Ghana, South Africa, Angola. This is being reported on the sports column of Punch newspaper. Thank you for being part of Freshlight this lovely morning. I remain Oluwafisayomi. Ajibola, good morning.
And I am Risqat Funmilayo. Thanks for joining.